What's going on, everybody in the family caption? This is Monday. Welcome to the call. We are growing. We're growing in spirit. We're growing in numbers, and we're growing in our vibration. There's more people watching us, and you'll be surprised how many people have contacted me this week, and I had no idea they were actually watching our message and what we're talking about with money and the time we live in. It's a very, very interesting time we live in. It's some really negative things going on. There's some really tragic things going on. And it seems like to me that people are getting more and more violent. And I noticed that since the COVID started, there's a increase of suicide. There's an increase of domestic violence. There's an increase of depression. Because just think about it. Just think about the average person today. Like, I didn't grow up like this. I know you guys didn't either, and it's kind of traumatizing that, you know, you just see a person like this, like you just see the eyes. And when you only can see the eyes, guess what? You can't see a smile. People smile and you can't see smiles right now with all this covering of the face. And it can be traumatizing to some of the kids and not going to school. I was able to go to school at this age. So there's some real I want to say troubling effects of this whole COVID thing. Not just to mention just that, it's also business. Businesses are being very negatively affected. And we haven't even seen the fullness of the effects of businesses right now. There's a lot of businesses in California, I understand, that want to reopen, and they've been getting fined, and they're still reopening. And it's kind of hard to blame them. Like, what do? You starve to death? You not pay your bills? You lose your house? Uh, Nobody's going to compensate these people. So it's really a catch-22 with that whole thing. Do I get the fine by the state or the city, or do I try to make this much rent? It's a tough situation. It's a tough decision. I think I'm a type of guy. I probably would just pay the mortgage. I would do everything I can to feed my children. I would do everything I can to make sure they got food on the table. I wouldn't allow them to just suffer and starve just because somebody told me I have to starve. And you don't have an answer for me. You don't have any solution for me. You're not going to compensate me. But I need to just sink, basically. They're telling me that I can't backstroke, I can't float on my back, dare not breaststroke, dare not freestyle, just sink. You can't swim, just sink. That's a tough decision for me. I'm just not cut like that. I don't think anybody on this call is cut like that, where we could just do nothing and just allow our lives to suffocate and to disintegrate into nothingness. I just don't think that we're cut like that. Most people are not. So it's a huge, huge battle going on right now. And a lot of it's not making common sense. It's just not. There's been worse pandemics on the planet than this. And we did not lock down the whole country, and we did not lock down businesses. We did not social distance and all this stuff that they're doing. It's just not making scientific sense. Now, the other day I was in the mall. I went to, the little food concessions. And when I went to the to the order, and they said, "Put your mask on." So I'm like, okay, I get it. Put my mask on. But everybody behind me don't have a mask on because they eat their food. So how stupid is that? Like, why do I have to put a mask on to order? But everybody behind me don't have a mask on because you got to take the mask off to eat. And this is a huge mall. There's hundreds of people sitting behind me with no mask on, of course, because they're eating. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing is just not making any scientific sense at all. That's what I mean by no scientific sense. They make you wear the mask when you come in the mall, but you got hundreds of people, literally hundreds of people in the food court, no mask. No mask. I had to wear a mask when I went to the sports bar. But then when I sit down and drink my beer, I can take my mask off. I mean, it's not making any scientific sense at all. But again, the Family Cap Sheet, we are about wealth. We teach people money. We teach about cryptocurrency, decentralization, blockchain technology, which is some huge words. Now, I was just talking to a gentleman, and I was telling him the reasons why you would want to be in a Family Cap Sheet, because a lot of these companies are not teaching people how to evolve beyond the centralized mind thinking. We are all raised in a world to think everything goes together. Now, being in Dominican Republic, I've been out here for a while now, almost a year. I haven't been back to the United States, but I have been to Europe once. But I got locked out my Facebook. And when I got locked out my Facebook, it was because my IP address moved from the United States. So they got everything pegged and centralized to pinpoint who you are. And we've been trained to pinpoint who we are. And that's not to your benefit, that's to your detriment. But it's to governments and financial institutions' benefits. It's not to your benefit. That everybody know where you're at, who, and all that. It's not to your benefit. So when I came here, they locked me out of my Facebook. Okay. So I changed my phone number right before I came out here. I had a different phone number. Same phone, different phone number. I had the same phone number for quite a few years, for like almost 20 years. So I thought one day, okay, I'll change the number. I got everybody's phone number, and I'll reach out to who I want to reach out to and give who I want to have the number. And whoever doesn't have the number, oh well, it's somebody that I don't need to be in contact with. So I changed my number, and because I changed my number and forgot to change it in Facebook, I was locked out my Facebook. Because my Facebook is connected to my knee bone connected to my thigh bone connected. See, everything's connected. You're connected through your Google.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh.
But it's true, right? It's true. Everything's connected. And that's what I think about when I go through these centralized systems. I think about everything's connected. And we think that's to our benefit, like I said, but when I got locked out my Facebook because I moved and they didn't see my IP address was connected to a certain server or a certain Wi-Fi. Okay, so when I'm not in that Wi-Fi, then they asked me a security, they locked me out my Facebook. So then they asked me a security check. And I said, okay, cool, security check. Then they sent the code to my number. I don't got that number no more. It took me literally a long time to get in touch with Facebook to tell them to try something different. Now I don't connect a phone number to Facebook. I'm not doing that no more. I use an email because I feel like I can always get to my email better than I can a phone number, because you never know when you change your number, which I don't really change my number a lot, but at the same time, everything's connected. So a lot of times when I go, like, say when I go on LinkedIn or something, they ask for your Google. So you can get on through your Google, or you can get on through your Facebook, or you can get, through your Twitter. All this stuff is connected. It's not good. We think it's easy to log in because you don't want to remember all those passwords and stuff, but it's not good because it centralizes all your information. Okay, it puts everything into one stream, and that's dangerous. But this is how they train us to think. So decentralization is retraining how we think. And one of the things the Family Cap Sheet focuses on our cryptocurrency courses more than anybody else is we realize people are not going to just get it like that. There's a certain training and there's a phases that they got to go through, because it hasn't been just done for your 40 or 50 years of living. This has been done for centuries, since banking has been centralized, which is hundreds of years. Centralized banking forces centralized information. And they have been doing this for years, but since the internet, it's gotten worse. Centralization has gotten even worse. And everything is really centralized into, like I said, deep bone connected, thigh bone, all this stuff is all connected. And it makes it really, really easy to pinpoint you. And it makes it really, really difficult for you to have privacy. See, that's not good. That's not good that you don't have privacy. You don't have access to privacy, that you can be so pinpointed and located at every time. They don't really need chips. They really don't need to chip us. We done chipped ourselves with all of this centralizing of our data. Okay. Now, what I started with understanding is since the beginning of the internet, data has become valuable. Because when we first started browsing on the internet, browsing and searching, we left data crumbs that we didn't think about. So a company called Google, they understood the data crumbs that we were leaving. So they scraped up all this data, and then they created a website where you go in and search for data, and they're scraping data, and they're also collecting the data that you're searching, and now they become $1 trillion company because data started to become the new gold or silver or commodity that accumulates value. Because governments like data. They like to know what you look at, what you see, what books you like. So Facebook became one of the top CIA platforms because Facebook did something that it took CIA, FBI, psychiatrists, and psychologists weeks or months to develop a characteristic on a person, a profile. They would go in your trash and find out what kind of books you read, what you order. They would go talk to people in the grocery store. They would do all this research to find out about you. Okay? Now they don't have to do that. All they do now is go to your Facebook. You tell them what kind of books you read, what kind of movies you like. You volunteer this information that they can actually put a profile together and say, okay, he's an A-type person, or he's a this type person, or he's an egomaniac, or he's a narcissist, whatever. They can develop that from watching your social media. So you doing all the work for them. They don't have to really, do a whole lot of work. They can have a psychiatrist. That got everybody's attention. Yeah, I have some sinus issues here. It's that time of year again. I have sinus issues, but that saved them a lot of time and a lot of money. So within 5-10 minutes, police officers, psychiatrists, sociologists, or psychologists, they can pretty much characterize you relatively very easy because you do all the work for them. We never thought about that. We just, we're going to tell people what we are, who we like, and what I like to read, what I like to. If I watch a guy's library, if I look at a guy's library, I can pretty much get a real good feel for what he's about because I'm seeing what he reads. I mean, I won't have him totally down because I don't know his life experiences, but I got a pretty good understanding of his interests and what kind of information he's coming with. So what I'm doing now is I have a lot of my library now on hard drives because when you come in my place in Los Angeles, I got a huge library where you can see a lot of books. I like the fact now to keep it digitally because you can't see what I read. You can't see, certain books I read unless I tell you and we talk about it. Oh, you read that? I read that. Okay, well. So that's kind of controllable. I can control what you know about me. Not that I have a lot of secret stuff, but I do read a lot of things that I might not want you to know what I read. I'll tell you some of the books that I read, but I might not want you to know some of the books I read because, everybody is not on that level. There was one book I had one time that somebody gave me, but it was kind of spooky. It had some real spiritual stuff in there that might spook you out. So you got to be on a level to understand certain things. Everybody can't read everything. But anyway, back to Family Capture Sheet and why Family Capture Sheet. This meeting on Mondays is about why Family Capture Sheet. And I was going to go through the webinar, and today I just said, you know what, I'm going to keep it short and brief This team is growing fast. I'm excited about the momentum that we're getting. I'm excited about the enthusiasm of the people in the Family Cap Machine. I'm excited about the buzz that we're starting to create. I'm excited about the opportunity that we have right now in the time that we have this opportunity. Let me say this to you guys. There's people who I dealt with in my life who now are looking at the fact that, man, I should have got in there with you when you first started. And they're coming back now. But one thing I realize about life is opportunity has to be capitalized on. You got to jump on it when you see it. Okay, now, I missed the internet. I missed it. You missed it. I missed the whole opportunity to invest in the internet. I did. There's people that invested $200 in Google when it first started. They're millionaires now. Multi-billionaires. $20, $30 million with $200, $300. I'm hearing these stories. But they saw it. They didn't fully quite understand it, but they saw it was something that needed to be capitalized on, and they capitalized on it. We're at that point right now in the cryptocurrency industry. It's a huge opportunity, but we got to grab it and run with it and don't have no regrets down the line. And right now, if you come into the cryptocurrency industry late, it's not really too late. It's not really too late. I looked at the cap rate today. Let me share that with you guys. Let me go and see if I can find the Bitcoin cap rate. Let's look at the cap rate. What is the cap rate? Let me see. What is it? See if I can find it. Exit full vision. I just looked at it today. I'm curious to see what it is right now. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull it up. Bitcoin cap rate. Let's go to it. I'm going to pull it up, and we're going to look at this as a team. Coin market cap. Let's go to coin market cap. Let me share my screen. 1 second. I know you guys can't see. Let me share my screen with you guys. The Bitcoin cap rate, okay? You guys can see. It's $356 billion. The total cap rate of cryptocurrencies is $568 billion. Now, some people out there might say, oh my God, it's way up there. I just told you guys, Google by itself is $1 trillion company. I think that's more than 500 billion. Facebook is a 978, almost $1 trillion company. We haven't even talked about the Fortune 500. We're just 2 companies in America. Microsoft is almost $1 trillion company. These are 3 companies. This is an entire industry that has the capability of disrupting all of these industries. And it's only not even $500 billion. 7,800 cryptocurrencies. I would think this is the beginning. I would think that this is not even the infancy stage. I would think that this is more like the gestation period. This is so new in the beginning, it's not even funny. Not even funny. Sorry about that, you guys, but I gotta blow. I can't just let that pile up. My nose is really clogged up. Again, this is that season that's changing, and it kind of messes me up. I have allergies. But anyway, this is not even in the gestation period. This is so new in the beginning. This is the time for people to get in, take advantage, grab this opportunity, learn as much as you can about this industry, because you might be the one to come up with an idea that can disrupt the whole industry with this technology. And you can become a multi-millionaire on an idea that you come up with once you start changing your mindset of this whole centralization, everything got to go together. No, everything doesn't have to go together. Some of this stuff needs to be broken up, because right now we got 26 people in the world that control 50% of the wealth because of all this centralizing of information and these people controlling and monopolizing data. So it's imperative for us to start understanding this. understanding this and being a frontier or being what you call pioneers. And stop being followers. Everybody's a follower now. The whole social media movement is about following. We're not creating leaders no more because we're not creating innovative thought. And one thing I like about blockchain technology and decentralization, to decentralize industries, it requires for you to innovate thought, to think different, to think outside the box, to think outside the matrix. And that's good for humanity as a whole, to come up with new creative things, with new innovative things, to make things better, to make things more private, to make things more free, instead of so much control and manipulation and followerism and all this stuff. This is not good for society as a whole, because right now, some of the things I see people following, I remember there was this challenge. They had this challenge. It was called I forgot this challenge they were doing, where everybody was jumping out the car and they was dancing. It was a Chris Brown challenge. What was it called? What was that challenge called? Can anybody remember that challenge? You guys don't remember that challenge? Everybody jump out the car and they do this little thing. They did the dance.
Was that the one with they was dancing off of Drake's Kiki, that Kiki song?
Yeah, that Kiki song. In My Feelings. I think it was called the In My Feelings challenge, right?
Yeah.
So that little challenge, everybody was doing that. This one car guy jumped out of his car. Car wrecked and ran him over, broke his leg or something. I mean, he went viral. The video went viral, right? The guy actually got ran over, broke his leg, and some more stuff. And he got so many followers from that. He said he would do it again. So this is what I mean by, this follower mentality, and it's dangerous in a sense, but like I said, people do anything for views and subscriptions and stuff like that. But with this technology, like I said, it has the capability of breaking so many different industries where there's monopolies. These monopolies need to be broken. Why? Because if we can break these monopolies, we can redistribute wealth. Instead of one person having $160 billion, too much money for one person to spend, for his kids to spend, his grandkids, his great-grandkids. If we can break some of that, now, I don't want people to think, oh, he's a socialist. No, that's not what I'm saying. A socialism is where the government gives everybody equal. I'm not with that bullshit either. That's what I'm not talking about. It's free opportunity out here for everybody. But I just don't believe in monopolies, because when you have a monopoly, that means they got a whole lot of help from the government. They got a whole lot of help from agencies that to not only help them make money, but to block other people. See, I don't believe in that. I think that everybody should have a free opportunity to make as much money as they want. And nobody should be regulated in a sense that kills competition, see? Competition is what keeps markets fair. Okay, but some of these companies have gotten a lot of help by governments to block other ethnicities out and to keep certain groups of race on top all the time. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't got to spell it out. Racism, white supremacy, whatever you want to call it. They do that to monopolize things. It's no mistake that the 26 richest people in the world ain't black. They're not Chinese. Now, they do got some billionaire Chinese. There's a few of them, but at the same time, that's a communist country. So you got communism versus, capitalism. And there's probably more capitalism going on right now in China than even in America. I know that sounds crazy, but there's more capitalism happening in China right now than America. Why am I saying that? Because China in the last 10 years has produced more millionaires than America. China in the last 10 years has created more billionaires than America. And they communists? Well, maybe I need to go to a communist country. If they create more success stories, how is it that they're creating more success stories than us? Because we have regulations. We have too many regulations that blocks out competition, free competition, equal competition. And that, to me, is not right. So some of this stuff needs to be redistributed. Some of the wealth needs to be redistributed. It does, because we won't have these monopolies of all these lobbyists paying congressmen to turn things against the people. Because that's what's happening. Most of your laws is being made right now. It's not to the benefit of the people. It's actually to the detriment of the people. So Family Caption, we follow the money. And the reason we teach money, we follow the money, because we're finding when you follow the money, you'll find a whole different narrative of what they're telling you about this story or that story or this news thing or what's happening in Iran, where you got these scientists now dying left and right. I know you guys have been hearing about it now. Now they just had a scientist got shot by a drone. Some drone shot him, killed him. Then they had two scientists who somebody put a bomb on their car, blew up the car. These nuclear scientists. These is coordinated efforts. But again, if you find out about the money, you'll find out why this stuff is happening. So Family Cash Rashid, our show is called Follow the Money. It's an independent show that we just want people to wake up more about money. Then we also have our own platforms where we teach you guys about money and pay you to learn about money. We share with our students part of the revenue. I just had a networker on the phone who's been in several companies, and when I showed him our income, he like, man, when I sign up? Sign me up. Sign me up now, because I know our income is massive. We have so much going on with that income. As the company starts growing, it's going to be some people making some real damn money with us. And so as they're making the money, we have to train them what to do with the money, because we're not taught that. There's no school that teaches that. You know, you have to be in a wealthy family to learn actually how to organize money, how to plan money, how to safely protect your money. That's a skill set that they don't really teach in no school. So we teach that in Family Caption because we know we're going to be having a lot of success stories here. So we want to make sure that we're in position to create generational wealth, because we're all in the beginning of this technology that has the capability of making more millionaires than even the internet did. So if we're some of the ones that's going to make this kind of money, we want to be those that are smart and not become victimized to these agencies that are created to disrupt the masses and to monopolize wealth to a certain small stream of people. That's what they do. So these agencies are not for the protection of the public like the public think. That's what they taught you. Oh, this is for the public. This is for the public protection. And just like I told you guys on one of the calls, that a pyramid is what Mark Zuckerberg has. It's a pyramid because he's at the top, everybody is at the bottom. And Facebook being the biggest media content provider in the world, it's the biggest media content platform in the world. But they don't create no content. That's your content, my videos, your videos, my family, my, text. All that's my stuff, your stuff. But the people on the bottom don't get a check, don't get any money. I've been on Facebook since 2007. I don't recall them sending me any money. Did you guys ever get a check from them? I haven't. So again, it's a centralized system. One guy at the top getting all the money. That's a pyramid. Everybody on the bottom creating the value, but only one guy at the top creating, getting the money. That's a pyramid. So what we've created is a network. But people will look at the network and go, that's a pyramid. So the enemy has made right seem wrong and wrong seem right. See that? If you come with a decentralized system that's disruptive, a lot of people say, oh, that's wrong. You guys want privacy. It's wrong to have privacy. What's wrong about having privacy? Privacy is good. Privacy is not bad. But they teach you that privacy, oh, you're hiding something. What are you hiding? I'm not hiding nothing. I just don't want you to know my business. It's none of your business what my business is. How about that? It's none of your business how much money I have. It's none of your business how much money I spend. It's my business. I made the money. I worked, I blood, I sweat for this money. How is it that because I'm not sharing with you how much I'm spending or where I'm spending it, why that has to be negatively interpreted? See, What are you going to do with that information? Are you going to do good with that information? No. That information is going to do you no good to know. The only thing you can do with that is bad to me, where I'm concerned. When I share with everybody what I'm doing with my money, there's nothing good they can do with that information. Think about that. There's nothing good the government can do about it. He spent $100,000 on a girlfriend. Where did he get $100,000? See, everything coming from that is negative to me. Everything that they're using that data for is not to my benefit. Think about that. So privacy is a good thing. It's not that I'm doing nothing wrong. At the same time, I have a right to privacy. And we've learned now not to respect privacy. Privacy now is something that's not really valued at all because we volunteer all this information on social media. We volunteer all of our data. We volunteer all our information. And if you're not volunteering, something's wrong with you. If you're not telling me everything you're doing, I've seen guys even tweet when they use in the bathroom. Hey man, I'm taking a dump right now. Like, what? That's too much information. Like, come on, man. What is it? When does you draw the line? What is the lines? There's no lines no more. And so decentralization is going against the grain of all of that. We're promoting privacy. We're promoting more discretion. We're promoting more space for you to have space, not only to think, but to have space to think what you want to think without somebody judging you or somebody taking your thoughts and running with it and spinning it in a negative way. So cryptocurrency encryption, that's what it is. It's encryption because governments have taken this information and they monopolize the information to enslave us, and they take the information to profile you. Okay, they already know your profile. I've even seen surveys go around on Facebook, and I knew it was some government surveys, and it was surveys going around like, who all want to burn the country down now? Who all want to do this? And when you sign that survey, you going on a list. You going on a list. So again, it's some stuff that's spread out there. It's a setup, and they get all these lists of all these stupid people on these surveys, on these not just surveys. They do other things like proposals, or they have you sign these what they call them, petitions and all that stuff. And all they doing is gathering information on who's who and what you're thinking. So I've seen that. I've seen things like that I can identify with was a data gathering and categorizing people. See, categorizing people. It's so easy now to do on social media. But again, back to the family cash machine. We're promoting, healthy competition in marketing, in markets. And I was watching recently one guy with some toilet paper when the COVID started. Some guy bought a bunch of toilet paper, and he was selling it for an exorbitant amount of money, and people was buying it. I mean, that toilet paper was flying out of his garage. He had stacks of it, and everybody, for some reason, when people think they dying, they got to take a dump. I don't know what it is. When people think they died, they go buy a bunch of toilet paper. That's just crazy. So all the toilet paper was gone. So this guy had stacks and racks of it in his garage. He was making a killing. So the neighbors called the police. Hey, he's charging and selling this toilet paper an exorbitant amount of money. So the biggest crime done to free markets. Police came and confiscated the man's toilet paper. Now, they confiscated this man's toilet paper, took his toilet paper, and said, hey, you shouldn't be selling this for this exorbitant amount of money. But they don't understand free market, enterprising, okay? So this man went and bought this toilet paper with his own money with the anticipation the toilet paper was going to go up, and he was right. And he's entitled to whatever he charged, because if I want to pay $5 for a roll of toilet paper, if it ain't no damn toilet paper, and I think that it's important to have toilet paper in my house, because I got daughters in the house, and we riding out this COVID, and y'all saying we can't leave the house, or I got to go stand in line for 4 hours to get toilet paper, and I want to buy some, if I feel like I want to go buy it from him, it's convenience for me. It's convenience for me. And then this man capitalizing on the free market, and he's setting signals to other people in the market. Oh, shoot, I better go buy me some extra toilet paper, and I can make some money. See that? That's signals that the market's sending. People don't understand markets. They don't understand fair market. They don't understand business, okay? So they tell on the man, and then the police compound it by taking the man's items that he paid for in a free and fair market, in an equal market. He's setting the market trend right now. And he's sending signals to other individual entrepreneurs like myself that might say, oh shit, I got a bunch of toilet paper in my garage. Maybe I need to open up the garage and sell some of this toilet paper we got that I bought when Y2K. I bought all this toilet paper for Y2K when they said the world was going to end for Y2K. And now this is opportunity for me to get my investment back, right? So they just shut me down. That's not right, because they don't understand markets. They don't understand fair market. This is a centralized mindset that they have to control and regulate everything instead of letting the market and the people weigh out itself. See, weigh out itself. The markets determine. The markets, the demand for something determines. The supply determines. The demands determines. Not the police. This is how screwed up we are. So the family cap sheet, we understand fair market, free markets. We understand we don't need a whole bunch of regulations. Because if I have a product that I'm selling that don't work, and I'm selling everybody this magical box that don't work, guess what? After about 5 or 6 sales, they're going to say, man, that bullshit don't work. So the market's going to correct itself. The people going to tell. They're going to say, hey, that don't work. Don't buy that. It doesn't work. So you don't have to regulate that. The market is going to correct that. Does that make sense, you guys? The market is going to correct it. We don't need all these governments coming in and regulating all these businesses because they screw it up every time. Every time they get involved, they screw it up. They screw it up. When I was doing real estate appraisals, they came in, regulated that industry, and gave all the control to the banks, the same people that created the damn corruption. How's that fixing it? You gave the control to the person that messed the whole market up? Wow. So now real estate appraisers are going through these appraisal management companies, which indirectly is owned by the banks. What? So every time they come in and regulate, they mess it up. Here's an appraiser who might be, I knew an appraiser who was an expert in appraising land that he would tell the developers how much it would cost. There's a cost factor in getting all the roots from the trees. That's a cost factor, a huge cost factor, if we're talking a lot of acres. And he became an expert with just that alone, telling you how much it would cost to clear this land, how much this land is worth now, how much it's worth when it's cleared, and how much it's going to cost to clear them damn roots. The roots can be a huge, huge expense, believe me. And he was an expert at that. So now you can't hire him. You got to hire anybody that you pull out the bag. They don't let you hire a guy based on his expertise. That's a problem. That is a problem to the market. Let the market choose who's an expert with office buildings, who's an expert with retail buildings, who's the expert with land, who's the expert doing appraising, say, burger stands. There's different people that have different expertise. And so the market is going to determine who's the expert at that. See, the market is going to determine that. But if you go to a system where you just put all the appraisers in the bag and they just got to grab one out the bag, and they pull up a guy who's an expert in, say, grocery stores, and he get a job to go do land, he's not going to turn it down because he's not getting no jobs no more based on his expertise. So now he's going to do something he's not even an expert in. This is when government gets involved. See, when regulations get involved, it disrupts in a negative way the free, fair market from correcting itself or operating on its own motion. It's the best thing to happen is for markets to operate on their own, because again, the people will decide who's the experts at this and who's the experts at that. And some guys, they just specialize in one thing. And if they specialize in that, then the market is going to solidify him as an expert. Because everybody's going to use him for that specific type of market because he is the expert. But again, when governments come in and regulate, set rules, and I'm giving you guys examples how governments mess things up every time when they do regulations. One of the things I didn't like about the Republican Party is they deregulate too much. So where corruption comes in. And then the Democrats come in and regulate, and they suffocate markets. They suffocate industries with too much regulations. So it's the two extremes. Both of them extreme. Extreme regulation, and extreme deregulation. So at some point, we have to find a middle ground. Why don't we just let the markets determine? Because people will identify with something that's not working. They're going to blog about it. They're going to, hey, man, don't use that company. Don't do that. This guy don't know what he's doing or whatever. The market's going to correct itself. So again, we got to get back to that. In the Family Cash Sheet, we're teaching real economics. We're teaching real fair market. We're teaching the real definition of money. We're teaching the real definition of how to accumulate wealth. And we can't say that we have not created wealth as a people. Our people have created massive amounts of wealth. I'm going to do a video in a few days, I think Thursday, and I'm going to talk about all the celebrities and basketball players that have went through hundreds of millions and now broke. And I'm doing that to show we've already obtained the kind of money that could have accumulated generational wealth. We've already been attaining that. For years, we've attained the kind of money that could have spiraled into generational wealth. But we don't have the knowledge and the understanding of how to protect it. And this is why Family Cap Sheet. Family Cap Sheet is going to teach you guys how to think more free, how to be more independent, how to really think financially independent, how to create financial independence, how to protect it. So these are all the things that we teach. These are all the things that we train people. And it's clear. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not like you can just take 1 or 2 classes and bam, you got it. It doesn't work like that. Because all of your life you've been taught to think centralized. And sometimes you're going to catch yourself going, hold up, why did I do that? That's kind of telling on myself here. So Coinbase is designed to centralize your privatized wallets. And there's a lot of companies out there now that's designed for you to centralize your information, your data, from a decentralized place where they don't know who owns this, to something where they know. That's what it's all designed for. Okay? Having a little issues here with my sinus, but I'll be all right. I don't like taking that medication because it makes me too drowsy. I hate that feeling. And then it makes you nervous. I don't like that. So I'd rather just wing it out. How about that? But anyway, so this is what the Family Cap Sheet is teaching. We teach in a manner to where we help your mindset to identify with the matrix. I call the centralized world the matrix. If you watch the movie The Matrix, you know, it just looks like a movie. But when you start studying with the Family Cap Sheet, you start getting, you start understanding what the matrix is and how prevalent it is in your life. And it is so, it's so subtle. You don't even realize that you've been brainwashed and you've been trained to tell on yourself in every matter. You've been trained to tell on yourself. So it makes it to where the few can actually control the many because we're trained to tell on ourselves. We make it so easy for them, you know, and believe me, again, you got to ask the question, what are they doing with your financial information? When you share all your financial information with these governments, are they using that information for the good? Is that, how are they utilizing your information? This is what we got to think about. I don't think it's no good being used for that. Everything that they do is to manipulate, to control, and what's the last word? Exploit. Exploit you, to take from you, to rob you. Basically, that's what they do. They rob you. They rob you for everything that you've earned on your own. They rob you for your generational
Hello?
wealth. Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, they rob you. So I'm going to go ahead and open up, I think, for a few questions and answers. And Jonathan left. So I'm going to open up for a few questions and answers. Anybody got any questions and answers? This would be the time to do it. And you can open your mic and go ahead and ask any questions that you guys might want to ask about our platform and where we're going, or any question that you have about cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, or whatever. Open mic. How about that? Don't all speak at one time. I know somebody got something to say, or just add something to the conversation. You guys got something you want to add? I know Miss Champagne always got something to say. What you got to say, Miss Champagne? She's holding back, trying to let you guys talk. Nobody got nothing to say. Go ahead.
Where do you see the blockchain technology, say, within the next 2 years?
That's a good. I don't like what I'm seeing right now in the blockchain technology, because I'm seeing a lot of people use that word, blockchain technology, blockchain technology. When I first got in this industry, it was Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Now it's blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. And they're using it in a centralized manner. A lot of banks is using blockchain. You know, a lot of the conventions is blockchain convention this, blockchain convention that. But if you're using blockchain in a centralized manner, to me, it doesn't have any excitement to it. It's nothing exciting about using the blockchain as a database, because that's what they're doing. They have one bank, they have one company, one corporation with a blockchain, but it's centralized. It's still one source that controls it. It's not a network. It's not controlled by the people. And if you have a blockchain, to me, that's not decentralized, it's boring. There's nothing exciting about it. It's just a different way to do the same old thing they've been doing. And so I see the blockchain struggling right now. I see centralization winning over decentralization. And the reason I see that is because the mindset hasn't changed of the people. So even though they got this magnificent, marvelous, decentralized knowledge that can disrupt so many industries and redistribute wealth, because we still think centralized, we're going to use this magnificent decentralized technology in a centralized way. So that's what I'm seeing. I wanted to show a video, but I don't want to show it on recording. And I have a friend of mine that's going into this wonderful business that he's doing, but he's thinking in a centralized manner. He's got an idea to, and I saw his video. His video was beautiful. I don't want to take nothing from the brother. He's brilliant. I think he's got a great idea, but because he's still thinking centralized, he just messed the whole thing up. And he wants to take a lot of different cryptocurrencies. He wants to take a lot of stocks and commodities and all these different things that people trade, even cryptos, and put it all on one platform and make it real easy for them to trade. And even he wants to tokenize certain commodities. He's got a great idea, but he's going to get an SEC license. He's going to be regulated. He definitely want to be CFTC, SEC regulated, and he wants everything to be KYC. Now, what's the problem with that, Miss Champagne?
Because they want to know too much information. You have to give up all your personal information, social, everything. You're not owning anything, in my opinion.
Exactly. See, one of the things that cryptocurrency is 4 different things. It's permissionless. Damn, you going for permission. See that? Why do we always feel like we got to get permission to be successful? Why do we always feel like this technology was created to avoid all of that? This is why Satoshi stayed anonymous. And this is why Bitcoin didn't ask for no permission to start. It just was a phenomenon. It started, boom. Facebook didn't even ask for permission to start. So now it's way out there. And of course, governments came in and grabbed it, controlled it, all that. But he didn't reach that success by asking for permission. See, he just started it. So Amazon, same thing. He didn't ask for permission. He just started it. But now these companies are so massive, of course, governments come in and set their little regulations, but they didn't ask for success. That's a huge point. So asking for a license is really asking for permission. Now, why would you put your success at the liberty of someone else? That's a big question. When we have a technology that is kind of like made to disrupt that whole mindset. You don't need permission to do that. If he decentralizes everything with a decentralized mindset, and he decentralizes and tokenizes everything, and everybody's a number, you don't need permission. Why do you need permission when you have a blockchain of network on network on networks of people? And everybody's doing everything without their name. How do they reprimand someone when they don't even know who you are? How do they find someone when they don't even know who you are? How do they cease and desist a company when they don't even know who the company is? They know the name of the company, but the company has no CEO, it has no headquarters, it has no point of attack. See, that whole centralized thing is against you. It works to your detriment, not your benefit. When your knee bone connected to your thigh bone, and your thigh bone connected to this, you got a corporation, you got a corporate name, you signed under a law of the land or whatever corporation you signed under. You under that Secretary of State, you underneath a certain tax bracket, you underneath a certain IRS tax ID number, you got your name attached, you got your this attached, you got your that attached, and you're attached to the SEC, you're attached to the CFTC, you're attached to tax. You get the point. That's not good.
Could I say something?
Go ahead, you can say whatever.
No, so now what I'm getting is it's almost like they're trying to rip off blockchain to use to their advantage to find ways to control the people even more than what they're controlling them for the centralized version of it. And so it's almost like a watered down version to keep more tabs on you using some brilliant technology that was originally designed to be utilized for decentralization. So we're going to have to be able to separate the two, and we have the genius of you that's going to show us how to do that and lead us in the right direction, because a lot of people are going to be misled based on what they're trying to make people believe, because it's so popular. Everybody's hearing about it, just like when the internet first came out. I heard about it, but I know nothing about it. All I knew was the what they used to call it, the high speed, what is it, the high road internet or something they used to call it, the worldwide internet, where you can get on and go all over the world.
Worldwide internet, worldwide.
Yeah, and I remember I had this big old computer that I spent like $1,500 for, just to get on, like you were saying before. It takes you forever to get on and log on and all that. So this is kind of like in the beginning stage.
Yes.
From the perspective of how they're trying to direct the public into dealing with the centralized version of it. And if we stick to what, we're going to be learning from the family cash machine, it's going to teach us and show us how to stay decentralized and learn all the tricks and trades and how to do that. And I appreciate that. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, and it's funny because that sounds simple, what I said, but it's so hard for people to grow out of that mindset because, like I said, this is how we've been trained for years. Every system out here, whether it's economic system, political system, social media, your phone, everything is centralized. Everything is made to be centralized. So it's not by mistake that we think like that. They train us to think like this. Now, give you an example. Mark Zuckerberg. You would think this guy knows cryptocurrency, and I'm talking shooting from the hip today to kind of like say, okay, this is why you need family caption. It's not just because we teach cryptocurrency. No, we teach you money, the root of money, not the leaf knowledge, but the root of it. We teach you guys decentralization on a level where you evolve out of that mindset of the trained individuals in the world who are trained. I ain't talking about just Americans. All over the world, this is how governments control. Governments control the masses of the people through centralized mindset. Okay? And believe me, no government don't like what I'm teaching right now. None of them. But I don't give a damn. I'm teaching the people that the people control, not governments. The people control. We give these governments too much damn control. But the minute the people stand up and say, hell no, we're not doing that, it ain't nothing they can do. As a matter of fact, if you push that damn bill, we're gonna put you up for treason. Or they get some get right in them then. See, they'll be like, oh no, we can't do that. The people don't want that. But again, like I said, we don't get it. We think the governments control us. So we've fallen asleep all over the world through centralized trading. We're in a kind of like a zombie state. The day of the walking dead pretty much is going on right now. And it's all because people have been lullabied to sleep through centralized thinking. So Mark Zuckerberg, he goes, I'm gonna start a cryptocurrency. Now, you would think this guy, he made $180 billion, one of the richest men in the world. He's in the top 5. And he made it all on the social media, on the internet, being a techie dude, a technological, he's a programmer, all that stuff. You would think he understands cryptocurrency. And because he's so centralized in his thinking, he might understand how cryptocurrency works. He might understand the history of cryptocurrency, how it started, how it functions, but he's still centralized thinking. Because if he understood this is a damn war and this whole system is centralized, he would have never made that goddamn announcement. He would have built him a little underground company, let this little underground company start that little Libra coin, decentralized, with his money privately backing it. Nobody would ever know. See, but because he thinks so centralized, oh, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, we got to claim this, we got to incorporate this, we got to, see, and they shut his ass down because he didn't understand. He really didn't understand decentralized thinking. And that's why they shut him down, because he didn't really understand what he was saying when he came out and announced that coin. Man, you don't understand what you're doing. You really don't understand what you're doing. You got half the world's population, some shape or form. You got 1/3 of the world's population on Facebook. Then you own Instagram. Then you own WhatsApp. You got damn near half the world's population, and you just go announce freely you finna come out with an alternative currency? You done lost your damn mind. Because you really don't understand decentralization, and you really don't understand the detriment of centralization. And you got the biggest centralized website in the world, and you still don't understand centralization. You don't understand what's really going on. You understand, but you don't understand. I want to, if you guys, so we understand, but we don't understand. He understood centralization, but he didn't really understand that coming out with his own coin could jeopardize centralization. Because now, when he introduced that, the power of that announcement, Bitcoin was at 3,000 when he had made that announcement. And you got 1.5 billion people in India that was told by that prime minister, oh, Bitcoin's a Ponzi scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi. It's a Ponzi. And they believed it. They stayed away from Bitcoin, for the most part, except for the few people in India that are kind of like, oh, no, this is interesting. You got some programmers that were in Bitcoin, but for the most part, the majority of their country stayed away from Bitcoin because their prime minister said it was a Ponzi scheme. Now, when Facebook made the announcement, oh, we're getting ready to do our own cryptocurrency, then the people were like, hold up. I thought that was a Ponzi scheme. So if Facebook is getting involved in it, it must be some validity to this. And it started giving Bitcoin more credibility, and Bitcoin shot up at that time. Now that announcement from Facebook from 3,000 to almost 8,000. So again, Mark Zuckerberg didn't really understand. He's still in a centralized mindset. That's why he's allowed his site to be the main force of centralization. I explained that earlier about the profile, all that stuff he got on there. He gave a backdoor to the CIA and all these other agencies to be able to go into there and control it. You know, so he still didn't get it. So we need to detox people. We need to get them in a decentralized training where, like I said, they're not gonna just get it right away. It's gonna be some months before they realize how centralized they are in their thinking and start being in. See, we don't want people to to not be centralized, because you're gonna have to have some centralization in your life, but at least know when to unplug. God damn, at least know how to unplug. So we don't even know how to unplug. I mean, you have to have certain things. You have to have your credit. You have to have certain things. It's centralized. We get that. It's this whole world is centralized. There's no way you can totally be uncentralized. But understand the difference. We don't even know the difference. And so I know how to unplug from the system when I want. I know certain information I can unplug. I know when and how I can jump in and out from centralized and decentralized and know the difference. Most people don't even know the difference. And that's what we're doing, is training people how to control it, how they can be in control. And that, to me, is valuable as hell. That's way valuable than even learning cryptocurrency itself. It's learning the system, how things operate, how the world functions, and knowing how to unplug from the matrix. Identify with what the matrix is, and have the knowledge of how to dip in and dip out when you want. That's powerful. So any other questions you guys have? Jordan, how you doing, man? You got a question?
No, I don't have any questions. I'm doing well.
Okay. All right, you guys, we're gonna close the call out, and I'll see you guys Wednesday. And we're gonna go over some income. Wednesday it'll be the income day. But again, anybody watching the video, you want to join this Family Cash Machine movement, we got a great movement. If there's a link underneath here, we'll send you a link. There's going to be 2 links under here. One will be a funnel to show you guys passive income. One will be a video to show you the passive income, the decentralized bonus. Everybody in our courses share in the revenue. Once you buy a course, that's it. You share in the revenue of the classes. And there's a decentralized software that gives each person a turn to get paid. And that's how that works. Then we have an aggressive income, and we'll have a link to that underneath here. You can register for a webinar. Underneath this video, we'll have a funnel that you'll go through, and you can basically set your own time to go through that particular registration for that webinar that'll be attached to this video. So with that, again, we see you guys on the next video that we do. I'm going to be on live. Today is December the 7th. Tomorrow, December the 8th, I will go live on YouTube, and I'll talk about, how it is important to change our thoughts about money, or we're going to suffer the consequences if we don't change our thinking about money, or suffer the consequences. There's no in between right now. You're going to have to either learn money or you're going to suffer the consequences. You have to change your whole ideology and mindset and your thought about money. And that's what the Family Cash Machine will teach you. We'll teach you how to identify with how they're changing money even. It's not just Bitcoin and all that. These governments are getting ready to change money and change the definition of currency, change the definition of money. All this stuff is coming real soon. And if you don't understand money, you're going to be forced to be a part of systems that definitely not going to be to your benefit. So with that, we're going to go ahead and sign out. And you guys have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Peace.
Peace, you guys.
Peace and love.
Peace, everyone.
All right, peace and love, everybody.